What a 48 hours for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were down 2-1. Now they're up 3-2 in this series.
Passing the team defense, the rotations. Just tell me about the level of trust that this team exhibited tonight in a gut check game.
Yeah, great job hanging in there. First of all, we didn't play great. We were a little sloppy in the first half on both ends of the floor. That was as loose as we've been defensively. Really since game one, or maybe worse than game one. I'll have to watch it, but to hang in there the way we did and get back on track was impressive. And then I thought we closed really well. Both ends of the floor, high level of connection. Guys played great.
Mark, you went away from Lou late last game. He doesn't start the fourth, but you go to him and he plays the rest of the way, hits 3 threes, saves some pretty huge possessions. Can you describe your faith in him?
Yeah, I don't bet against Lou. It's that simple. He's just got an unbelievable there's just a special thing about him. He's always going to stand back up. He's not perfect, but he's always going to respond. He's always going to compete. You always can count on him to do that. And I don't like betting against that guy.
And all series we've asked you about your comparative experience and clutch time minutes. And for my money, it feels like you just clutched up maybe the biggest game in this building. Just what are your thoughts going down the stretch? And I guess how do you feel about your team in clutch time?
I mean, the close games are. First of all, our execution was excellent. I thought we executed as well as we have, in the playoffs. Down the stretch of a close game. We had a couple in Memphis, and then we had the few here. And our execution was very good. But at the end of the day, those games can come down to one shot, one play. It could go either way. So you can't overreact to the outcome. I just thought our process tonight down the stretch was excellent. We got into stuff. We were organized on both ends of the floor, no breakdowns, and strong execution.
I think going into the fourth quarter, you're 7 of 20 from 3. Then Lou hits 3 in that 2-minute stretch, and then you close with J-Dub and Shea hitting big threes. Was that just what the defense gave those guys? I mean, what turned it around from distance for you here?
Lou, stepped in with confidence and made big shots during that stretch. That was huge because we were, down whatever we were, 9 or 10 around that time. The 2 down the stretch, Shea's just taking what they gave him. He was clean on that one. He didn't force that. It was a great rhythm shot. And the dub one was a great early pass by Shea, extra by Lou to generate a really good look. So, like I said, I thought our process down the stretch on both ends of the floor was really, really clean.
Quick follow-up on Jalen Williams. Jay Will gave you a nice little spark in the third quarter. Then you subbed him in with Chad after Lou hit that first 3 with about 8 minutes left. A couple of rebounds, a couple of good defensive possessions on Joker, and then a couple of nice passes, too. What did you think about his minutes, and how big was he tonight?
Yeah, he was huge. He's been huge in this series, but Hart in the first quarter, I let his stint linger too long. We're trying to keep these guys fresh, especially the guys that are handling the major matchups. And so that was on me. And getting to him earlier in both the third and fourth and keeping everybody fresh for Jokic was a huge point of emphasis. So, but he stepped up. Jalen is a unbelievable competitor. He made big time plays. He had a great pass to Chet there down the stretch, and played great D on Jokic.
Mark, 68 wins, all the good things that happened this season, but a lot of people question your inexperience and everything else, and playoff, toughness, whatever. You guys are trading licks back and forth in that fourth quarter. What does a game like this do to answer some of those critics, and what does it just do for the confidence of the team overall?
Yeah, we don't play to answer anybody. We just play for one another, for our fans. The guys have an unbelievable connection in the locker room. That's enough for us. And they've had an unbelievable spirit. That's why they've accomplished what they've accomplished to this point. And it's why they show the type of resolve on a night, like I said, that we, for a lot of that game, we didn't have our fastball, but we hung around long enough and showed great will and connectedness down the stretch.
Mark, this is now back-to-back games of really impactful minutes from that trio of Kaysen, Caruso, and Wiggins. What is it about those 3 guys in particular that allows them to play so well together and sort of amplify each other?
I just think, first of all, they're all like team first guys. The whole team is, but those guys are team first guys. They compete together. They complement one another's with their skills. Kaysen and Caruso defensively, there's a great contrast there. They bring different things to the table, but they really play together. They have great chemistry out there, but all the guys do. But that unit was big in the second quarter. They kind of stabilized the game for us, and then obviously gave us good minutes in the second half.
Coach, what did you see from Joker in terms of energy? I mean, he did look just worn slick in that last game, and tonight not only does he make everything, but he looks like there was plenty of energy.
I mean, he responded like great players respond to adversity. Like we knew coming into the game that we were going to get a very, very potent version of him, and we did. He was decisive and quick and forceful. He was, just beating the guy on the ball. He was beating the shell, getting to his spots, and we just have to understand going into Game 6 in Denver, like this is a prideful team. He's a prideful player. Like that's exactly what we're getting. They're going to approach this game the exact same way with the same type of physicality, force, and we can't be late to that party.
Coach.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It feels weird to ask somebody who won 68 games, like if their team is still learning how to win games, but it feels like in these playoffs, especially the way Denver's pushed you guys, if you had to learn how to win these types of battles and these kind of slower games that they've been putting you guys through?
Yeah, I think, I said this after Game 4, and I'll reiterate it now. I actually think we're a better team today than we were at the beginning of the series. Like we're definitely evolving and growing and learning, despite the fact that we think we can play with anybody, and we've had some success. That doesn't stop us from growing. This is a humble group of guys that stay grounded through the success, and that's what allows them to continually improve despite the success. And so we've had to really test ourselves through 5 games. Game 6 is going to be a massive test for us in Denver, because it's on the road and because of the way they're going to play. And we'll grow from that as well, regardless of outcome.
Coach, in terms of confidence, to see a player like Shai, a young player, assume control in the second half and in the game's biggest moments, just from your own experience and your own vantage point, how do you see that pushing him and continuing to see him grow?
Yeah, Shai in particular?
Yes.
Yeah, I like our team. I don't think he had his fastball early tonight. I thought there were some plays that he could have gotten calls on. He didn't. He got hit. He went down there and played through that, and just didn't seem to be in the same rhythm and flow that he's normally in the first half. It's the playoffs. We're talking about Jokic the last couple games, but what the great players do is they rise, in the face of those challenges and adversities. And I just thought he got more and more composed as the game went on and settled into the game. And despite the fact that the pressure was mounting and it got hotter in there, he got cooler, and just kind of settled into it, made the right plays, let the game tell him what to do. He was unbelievable. He closed that thing down the stretch.
Both teams scored a lot in the paint tonight. What do you feel led to that?
I mean, both teams have not scored a lot in the paint in the series, and that's how these things unfold. Is you get confronted with very uncomfortable problems, and then you have to solve them, together. And while we're trying to solve our problems, they're trying to solve theirs. And I thought both teams tonight, showed the remnants of that. They solved some of the things that have been bothering them that we've been doing. We solved some of the things that have been bothering us, and that's what a series does to you. It's just it's a slog in that way. But both teams played better in certain areas of the game tonight. And you tip your hat to them. And I thought we did a good job ourselves.
This will be the last question to Barry, then we have players.
Yeah, Mark, when you were down 9 when Lou made 3 threes in a 4-possession span, clearly the 9 points is important. You needed it. But what did that do to the rest of the guys to see Lou make those 3 shots in a short span, just from an energy and confidence perspective?
Yeah. It's kind of like these guys are so connected. it's kind of like if a family member of yours is hurting or happy, there's a contagiousness to that because of the connection you have to a family member. That's how they are with each other. So when they see a guy rise like that, they feel that, and Jay Will in game 2, Wiggins and Kaysen last game, it brings an energy to the whole team. It's contagious through the team because of the relationships that they have and the thing that they've built, so it breathes great energy into the team every time somebody rises back up from an adversity. And, he was obviously the story of the game with his ability to do that tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Jamal Murray, 28 points in a losing effort for the Denver Nuggets.
103 apiece after Joker hits the soundboard shuffle. I guess what do you think it came down to there in the final couple minutes after it was even there?